Hello traders, and welcome to Smart Trade's Stock Talk. Today is Tuesday, the day after the Labor Day holiday, and I hope all of you guys did enjoy the holiday. And now we're back looking at the markets. We're starting at the S&P 500 as always, as you guys know, because it looks at general market movement using the Thinkorswim platform. So here's the S&P 500, and a lot of guys were expecting a downturn. Why? Well, one, it was because we were, yes, look at it, we were overextended over the 20-period moving average, sure, but also we were coming out of the Labor Day weekend. So if you guys looked at intraday today like I was, you guys can see that, we did push lower. You guys can see this candle did push lower, but we managed to recover, especially in the latter half of the day. Taking you guys to the 1 day, 1 minute chart, you guys can see this clearer how we recovered in the latter half of the day. So what does that mean in terms of general markets? Now, I told you guys last time that the general market was consolidating sideways to do what? To get ready for that next leg higher, right guys? So here's the higher high line, that's the resistance, and you guys can see the resistance here. We touched it at 291.39, and now what are we doing? We're consolidating sideways for that next leg push higher, at 292.57. If that occurs, that would be the next probable resistance. However, a couple things come in mind. First thing is, you guys can see this support line at 287.60. This support area is actually from 287.60 up towards the 288.54 area. That is the support for the markets, in such that if we do come down towards that area, as a matter of fact, we touched it today, but if we do continue to traverse into that area, that could be that sign of reversal. Whenever we see that sign, that might happen at the support, and that could be the good buying area. Remember, what was in previous videos, how did I talk about investing in the markets right now? Well, we invest at a dip. If we see a dip in the markets, that's a good entry point because we're getting it into the market at a discount. So that's what we're looking at right now. And markets, is there anything wrong with the markets right now? No, right? We can even come down before that next leg higher, and we would still be bullish. And therefore, looking at volatility today, or TVIX, we saw volatility did push higher during early parts of the day. As a matter of fact, I believe we went 4 or 5% higher on volatility. But look what happened near the end of the day. We went down we went up only 1%, but after market we dropped over that 1% after market. So you guys can see the market sentiment continues to be bullish, and I keep saying this, so hopefully you guys have grasped that concept at the very least. All right, let's take a look at commodities. But before we get into commodities and all of your tickers, so thank you for all of your submissions, guys. I really appreciate all of you guys commenting on my videos and really talking about the tickers, talking about the patterns that you guys can see, because a lot of those tickers, have very good patterns, whether they're predictable, horizontal, uptrending patterns. Those are the patterns that we want to see. So keep posting those tickers, and I'm very happy to talk more about them for you guys. Here is crude oil. We're looking at the intraday crude oil chart. So the first thing you have to realize is, wow, this is quite, pretty volatile, right? And now I'm going to take you guys to the yearly chart, because in last video, we talked about crude oil consolidating sideways at a resistance area. Can you guys see this resistance area at $70.05? We talked about this in the past few videos. Just refer to it. But what were we looking for? A consolidation to the upside. Now, what happened today? You guys can see early in the day, crude oil was up over 1%, over 1.5% at one point, right? And we were making this candle as we expected. But look what happened. Look, can you guys see that? We managed to drop and form a reversal candle at a resistance area. Now, this is very interesting in terms of crude oil, because it's showing a resistance, showing a short-term leg down. Does it take the bullish case off of the table? In my opinion, no, but it does show that we're not ready to go up at the moment for crude oil. So crude oil, you guys can see how UWT initially, I'll show you guys this chart. This is incredible. Initially, we were up over 6%. But look at this rapid decline back to the where. Can you guys see UWT that follows crude oil? It fell back right to my white line, which is the support line. Guys, once again, I did not put this line after the fact. These lines are always put before the fact unless it was a new trend line that occurred this time around, which most of the time it doesn't happen like that unless we're looking at the gold chart, which it did happen that one time. But most of the time we have these trend lines set. Here's the support line, $37. We fell right to it, and therefore, you know, this is how it is, right? Short-term downtrend, long-term, it's a question mark, right? Right now, it is a question mark because it is uncertain where crude oil, just note that crude oil inventories comes out Thursday. That could further really put some more volatility into crude oil. So just be careful if you are in this one. /NG. Here's another interesting trend. Here's natural gas. You guys can see that we made a reversal here, right? But look at this massive decline today. And natural gas is pushing lower. So we talked about this because why was I talking about, you know, this? Because the reason is we know that natural gas was going down, right? That's number one. And number two, DGAZ, which is inverse natural gas, would go up if natural gas would go down. But if you guys were in DGAZ in these areas, would you have kept inverse natural gas if natural gas was pushing higher, because the stock would have been dropping at that point? That is a question for you to answer. But regardless, if you held it because you saw that the overall trend is down, and you guys can see my support line is at, well, the support line should be at, is now at 2.745 at that case, then I'm going to actually draw this in. Then you could have stuck with DGAZ. Now you guys can see that natural gas continues to fall, which is the overall pattern. So that is something you guys want to keep in mind as well. So the ticker that if you guys were in it, or if you guys are interested, would have been DGAZ. Here's DGAZ up over 10% today, and this one has a lot of room to make up, right? So you guys can imagine there's quite a bit of room to make up. There's yet another 7 to 8% room to make up for this one. So that's just something to watch as we move on forward. The next one we're going to talk about is, of course, gold futures /GC. So /GC, we talked about this really pattern of uncertainty for gold. While we had a nice tail candle at 1179, we weren't able to move above this resistance area of 1218. And now you guys can see that we're moving on lower. So we're still stuck. In my opinion, gold is just not investable right now. While we had a short-term reversal pattern, the long-term reversal pattern is certainly to the downside. And we don't have enough of a confirmation in my opinion, to go with gold. The ticker for gold is JNUG, and you know, here's the support line. Here's the resistance line now at 1211.7. Just not investable right now. Take you guys to the JNUG chart really quickly just to give you guys an idea of what's going on. Here's JNUG, almost all, you know, at a yearly low again, right? Almost at a yearly low again. So I don't see that definitive sign of reversal. That's just me. And so this one continues to be a dangerous one to look at if you guys are looking into gold. All right, let's take a look at your tickers. So thank you very much for your submission. We're going to start with the first one on the top, which is from Kim. Always great seeing you on the comment section. Whether you guys are returning back to the channel, whether you guys are new and watching for the first time, you know, I welcome everyone into the channel, and thank you for participating and just watching these videos. In the meantime, the course has been launched. The course has been launched. You guys can find more about the course in the description box down below. So you guys can imagine we're in a bullish market, right? And if you're not making money in a bullish market, you know, there might be some trading strategies that you need to perhaps hone in on, perhaps improve upon, and that is what my course will help you do. So be sure to check out that link if you're interested. Let's get on to Microsoft. So Microsoft, we're looking at this trend, and you guys can see Microsoft looks great. I think someone asked me about Microsoft in the past, in that we're talking about this area, and people were like, well, do you think Microsoft is a good time to buy in this general vicinity? And I said, yeah, sure, Microsoft is on an uptrend. You guys can look at the yearly chart and how it's been steadily progressing to the upside. Now, whether right now is an investable area, you know, it could be. It could be. Now, we are overextended, a little bit overextended. So if you asked me where the best time we would buy, it would be probably around 108, 109, but that's only $2 to $3 away. So really, Microsoft doesn't move that quickly. So even if you got in right now, you know, you might make money tomorrow, but you might not make it immediately. But surely if you keep it for, you know, a couple weeks, a couple months, this one's uptrending, and chances are it will go above your buy price. So very good trend, Kim, and thank you very much for your submission. Jason will take a look at the ticker P, and this is for Pandora. Okay, let's take a look at Pandora right now. Very interesting. Okay, so for Pandora, you guys can see that there is a resistance. There is a resistance at $9 and around 50 cents, give or take a few cents, around this area. And we're right at the resistance right now. So what is the best thing to do? You guys can see a resistance at around, in the past, around $7.36, around this area. But we managed to go above the resistance. As a matter of fact, we retested this support area upon earnings. Can you guys see that? Now we're at the resistance again. So Pandora is on a short-term uptrend, but we're at the resistance. Do we have to get over the resistance next day or the day after? And the answer is no, and the probable answer is probably not. And, you know, chances are we're not going to get through the resistance the first time around. So therefore, there are better entry areas to go at, right? We have entry areas certainly around $8.29, $8.50. You know, there's a range of numbers in which you could find a better entry area than we are right now. If it goes higher than this tomorrow, great. But we can know that at the very least, you know, that's not how most stock, we won't traverse over the resistance on the first try. That's just very difficult for something to occur. So I like this trend. Good call out, Jason. Dawei, can we look at Box? Yeah, so here is Box, and this is a very good call out, Dawei. I think this is a good one to be looking at. You guys can see this is a what pattern? This is a bull flag pattern. We've talked about this in the past. Look at the catalyst that made it, you know, this is why, in my opinion, I don't like earnings, and therefore you guys can see that even if the earnings is positive, you know, if it beat earnings or whatever, the stock can come down, even especially if it's overpriced. And you guys can see how we went to where? Right down to the support, 2360. Once again, guys, I do not change these lines. And what are we doing now? There could be that probable leg higher. Can it consolidate? Can it come down lower? Sure it can. Can it consolidate? Sure it can. But you guys can see that we're nearing the bottom half of our, you know, rectangle, and therefore great pattern, right? Nothing else to say. Good job. All right, Paul, thank you for your question. I do not trade options right now, so yeah, that's a good question. Chris, may I take a look at GES? So, of course, Chris. Congratulations on the course. Yeah, thank you. So GES, and so the one thing about GES is, let's actually zoom out a little bit and let's take a look at the bigger picture. Okay, so, interesting. So you guys can see for GES, we have a pretty nice resistance at $26, and we hit it a couple of times, and now we're nearing the resistance again. This is on a short-term uptrend, and the thing about this is that this is on a short-term uptrend, but you guys can imagine as the stock was moving lower the past few years, it established many resistance levels. So yes, it is going higher. And this one, once again, is rather slow moving. Why is it slow moving? You guys can imagine, let me take you guys to the yearly chart, how, you know, these are upon earnings, right? Upon earnings, it's rather quick and volatile. But for the most part, these candle sizes are, you know, these candle sizes are around 1%, right? These don't move too much. Today, we, went up 0.2%. This is rather slow moving. We're seeing some more volatility now. Right now, not too bad of a trend. I think there's a potential in which we can cross the resistance, but what's the best buying area? Well, the best buying area in the yearly chart would be around this area, right? Around the $23 area, in my opinion. We're close to it. If you guys really like this company, if you guys admire the fundamentals of this company, you could accumulate it, but just remember that we are at the resistance and there could be a better buying opportunity in the future. All right. Rizwan, BAC, we got hammer on daily chart. I'm not sure if I tackled Bank of America. I feel like I've tackled Bank of America many times, so maybe this is a ticker that you called out in the past. But you guys can see a hammer on the daily chart. Yeah, exactly. So what happened today? We went up 0.5%. Now this one is really truly slower moving. So I talked about how Bank of America, if you're holding it for perhaps months to years, this is a solid one to go in. I'll take you guys to the yearly chart. This is on an uptrend. Short term, we had a bull flag formation. Now it's slightly broken on top of it. It's consolidating. And just note that there is a resistance at 31.73, but it's a solid one to look into, right? Great job, Rizwan, as always. And guys, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching these videos. And if you guys enjoyed the content, please hit that like button. I'm here to do it all again for you guys tomorrow. So we'll be watching the stock market very closely. And of course, I'll be posting updates on Facebook as well. So sometimes during the intraday trading, I post updates. I talk about some support or resistance areas as mentioned in Stock Talks. So be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, very appreciate everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.